I yield to the gentleman from California, Mr. Sherman.
2 points. First, again, if these bills had been called up in the right order, the majority would have hours rather than minutes. That is not a good standard.
Would
but it
the
is
gentleman
not-
yield on that point? Because we on the majority side are totally unaware of what you speak. The order in which we believe information was handed to the minority side is exactly the order in which we are taking these in, so I don't know where the
we were
confusion is
given the
coming.
bills in a different order. I don't know what the confusion was. In any case, I certainly would have preferred to submit this amendment days in advance of this markup. As to the substantive comments of the gentleman from Michigan, obviously we want to keep bad actors out. We don't want shell companies involved. As to the simple step of getting written consent, if you represent both parties, yes, indeed, that is required where real estate's involved in many states. Why? Because that's good policy. And you as a real estate broker and the many real estate brokers I would work with wouldn't dream of representing both parties without having something in the file, getting their consent to represent both parties. But there are states where that is not a requirement. More importantly, there are businesses that don't own real estate. And since it is good policy when a real estate agent represents both parties to get the written consent of both parties to do so, it is also good policy to apply that to M&A brokers, regardless of which state they're in, and regardless and especially when the transaction does not involve real estate. It is not an undue burden on an M&A broker who has the great joy of representing both parties and perhaps maximizing commission in some cases to get one extra piece of paper where he says, look, I'm representing both parties here and both parties consent. So I'm hoping to persuade you to agree to that element of the amendment. I'll yield to the gentleman from Michigan.
Thank you. The time belongs to the gentlelady from California.
Yes, I'm hoping that the gentlelady from California will yield to the gentleman from Michigan for 30 seconds.
Thank you, and I do appreciate the gentleman from California realizing that it was more than just a necessary pressure that was the intent of the bill. We do need to codify this, and we have seen no action letters revoked. Certainly, no action letters do not have the weight of law on any administration or any regulator or anybody else. And I think if we see ourselves clear to move forward and clarify this, this is an excellent way of doing that. So with that, I yield back.
And I yield back to the gentlelady from California, who may want to yield back.
I yield back the balance of the time.
Gentlelady yields back.